What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the BetterBlocks channel. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can create simple logos for your Roblox game or anything else you want to make a logo for on Photopea completely for free. I'll leave a link to the website down in the description. You can do this on Photoshop or any photo editing software, really. You just have to follow the steps differently, or you may have to follow the steps differently. But I'm going to start by creating a new project. I will do the width to 4000. I'll do the DPI 2500. And then, oh, not the DPI. We're going to do the height 2500. Just like that. And I will just keep the background white, or we're just going to make it a dark gray like that. And I'm going to press create, and now we have our template and we can start making our logo. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab our text right down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to find a font that we want to use for our logo. Now you can either import a font into here by simply going into your full files and dragging it into here, which is what I'll do. So I'll be right back once I've done that. Alright, I have inserted a font now, and I'm going to be using this font to create my logo. It's called Troika, and you can download it on websites like DaFont, where you can find loads of free fonts if you want to import any font that you find nice. So, I'm just going to write, for example, let's write blocks, or something like that. Make it way larger, I can see. Let's make it 1000 pixels, just like that. I'm gonna use this for my logo, and I will be making my logo based off this. So first of all, what I usually like to do is I like to mark the text right here, and I like to go right here in the color picker, and I like to find a nice color. For this tutorial, I will be using blue. A light blue like this should be fine. And as you can see, the text is now light blue. Now, you may be wondering, for example, on a lot of new popular logos or a lot of new modern logos, you'll see that there's probably like a gradient text, which is quite simple to do as well. You can really just go in here, press blending options, and you should get this layer style. Now, what I'm going to do, you're going to go right down here and you should see gradient overlay. You can hit that button and you'll see your text should turn black and white. Now, what I like to do is I like to go in here and just press overlay for the blend mode, and you'll see it automatically creates a gradient for you. And you can change the intensity of the gradient depending on how visible you want it to be. If you don't want to do this, you can still get the opacity to 100 and go in here and just select your own gradient. You could just do that, and then you could do whoops. Then you could just do the other one right here and make it a bit lighter. You can still go ahead and select your own gradient if you really want to, but I usually just like to keep it black and white because it's just easier and saves a bit of time. So I think I'm going to go with 50% gradient or 50% opacity. And then after you've done that, we're going to press right click again and we're going to press raster size layer style. There we go. So now it's locked in. Do mind though that you cannot edit the text now, but we're not really going to be editing what's written anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But so now usually what people would do, or what graphic designers would do, is that they would get a copy of the text, or you can do this by just pressing Control J. What they would do is they would get a copy, maybe make it a bit smaller. Whoops. Maybe make it a bit smaller, like that. And they would move it maybe a bit below, and then make the color a bit darker, grab the darkest, make it a darker, just like that. That's probably what people would do if you were a beginner graphics designer. And, it doesn't look bad, right? But you can make this look a lot better and a lot more in-depth with literally 2 steps, right? So we're just gonna delete this. We're going to go back to our first text and we're going to press edit up here at the top right or the top left. Then we're going to head down to free transform. Then you'll see you'll get these markings around the text. We're going to press right click on the text and we're going to press perspective. Now you'll see that nothing really changed, but usually there's a free transform up here. You can now drag the corner of the text a little bit back or in front if you want. Maybe even make it go to the side like this. What I will do though is I'm going to drag it a bit behind. Not too much, just a tad bit, just like that. It should be fine. And you'll see it kind of bends backwards. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to press edit, free transform, right click again, and I'm going to head down to warp this time. Now here, I'm going to go to style and select whichever one I want. Now it could be arc, usually what simulators use, if you wanted to bend the text. And I'm also going to be using this arc. I'll just keep it very, very subtle. So it's only going to be 3%. So it's going to look like this. You won't see much of a difference, but now when we, oh, whoops, go ahead and make a copy. Make the color overlay a bit darker. Scale the text a bit smaller. You'll notice that there is actually a difference here. You'll notice that there's a lot more depth on the logo and it doesn't look as flat, right? But now this is what I've made. So now we're gonna need to actually create the 3D because right now it just looks like there's a pasted layer behind. So what are we gonna do? You're gonna press I on your keyboard to select the drop tool, eyedropper tool here, and you're gonna press on the 3D. And you should notice that the color changes depending on where your mouse goes. This is because you're selecting the color there. So yeah. Now once you've done that, you're going to head over to the pen tool by pressing P or just pressing there. You're going to go up here to path and select shape and fill and change it to the color that you just selected. Now what you're going to do is you're going to zoom in and you're just going to connect all these corners right here on the 3D. You're just going to select them and create shapes. I'll just quickly do an example right here on the B. You're going to take all of the corners and you're going to connect them to all of the corners. Now here on the B, for example, you'll notice that I connected the 3D to the main text. And if I were to make this invisible, you'd see just a couple of shapes, but that's all hidden behind the text. And you'll start to notice that it forms a 3D shape behind the text. So it gives this illusion that it's actually 3D. I mean, it is 3D, but it's pretty much just an illusion that we're creating. And the 3D may look good or bad. It can depend a lot on the font that you choose as well, which is why I have a bunch of fonts that I use. I have them all downloaded on my computer, and I usually don't use Photopea. I use Photoshop normally. But just for the sake of this tutorial and to make it more beginner friendly, I've decided to use Photopea to show you that you can actually make stuff like this as well in free software as well. You don't need to have the most expensive softwares out there to make something cool and unique. And of course, this isn't exactly a unique type of logo either. It's pretty normal to have logos like these out there, but you know, I'm teaching you guys how to make them and how you can maybe even start doing a couple of commissions and start making a little bit of Robux if you would like. And eventually, once you've practiced making logos enough, you'll maybe start charging more for them or whatever you might want. I mean, who am I to tell you what to charge? But all right, there we go. And now I have connected all my 3D, and you'll notice that it looks a lot better now. But you'll also notice that there's a giant mess out here on the right. And to fix this, we're gonna select the shape on top or the one on the bottom. Doesn't matter. We're gonna hold Shift down, and then we're gonna go down to the 3D layer that we copied, and we're gonna press Control and E, and then we merge all the layers. So Shift, press the button, and then we select all the layers right here in between, and then we press Control and E to merge. If you don't want to merge, you can just press Control G and you create a folder for all these, so you can still customize them if you would like. I usually just merge them because I use the customization afterwards. Now, I will not be going into shading the text in this tutorial, but a simple effect that you could add on to the main text right here is you could grab the pen tool again. You can maybe grab a bit of a darker color again. You could make it just choose a color, and you could maybe just make a little wave thing here, and then make it connect over here, and then you would create a clipping mask by holding Alt and pressing on the shape. And you'd notice that it would clip over the text. You could change the opacity of this to something and you'd have a cool little wave effect. That's one of the many effects that you can do. It's really all about creativity. Another thing you could do is probably even use your lasso tool and just draw random shapes and then paint over them using the brush tool like that. That's something you could do. But anyways, that was everything for this tutorial. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye bye!